Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Coming at you from my living room with a little bit of Christmas decor today to switch it up. I am starting the 4th in our Behaving Boldly series, and I'm so excited to be here bringing that to you today. In past weeks, if you're not familiar with what the Behaving Boldly series is, it's a series that Sam and I are doing to teach women tangible ways that they can behave more boldly and more confidently in their lives right now and in the year to come. So anyways, we've covered a lot of incredible topics, including how to fake it till you make it, behaving boldly within the confines of a traditional family structure, and also learning to behave boldly and appreciate our bodies for exactly who they are. So today we're going to talk about something that is also very near and dear to my heart, something I've personally experienced, and something that I think a lot of women have also experienced, and that is imposter syndrome. And this is not just exclusive for women. Lots of people have experienced this. I was talking with my husband about it this morning, but it is a situation that is very indicative to a lot of women, and it's something that a lot of women do experience. Now, if you're not familiar with what imposter syndrome is, it was invented, well, the concept was recognized, rather, I don't want to say it was invented. It was recognized in 1978 by two female psychologists, Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes. And they described imposter syndrome as a feeling of phoniness in people who believe that they are not intelligent, capable, or creative despite evidence of high achievement. And while these people are highly motivated to achieve, they also live in fear of being found out or exposed as frauds. And the irony is that something I've noticed is that some of the smartest, most capable people that I know are ones who also suffer from bouts or maybe long periods of feeling like they're imposters, whatever it is in their jobs or in their life or their artistry. I've known so many people, especially women, who have experienced this. So I think the first thing to remember is that you are not alone. This is a very recognized syndrome, and I think it's something that more people are starting to appreciate the farther we go along in learning about our psychology and history and where women sort of stand in the picture of our society in general. And, you know, we could probably do a whole nother topic on why women experience imposter syndrome, or a whole nother episode on why women experience imposter syndrome. But I'm going to try to keep it short today. So the first thing to remember is that you're not alone. Many women experience this. While I was researching for this, I was shocked to actually find out that Maya Angelou experienced imposter syndrome. Here's a quote from her on one of those moments. "I have written 11 books, but each time I think, uh-oh, they're going to find me out now. I've run a game on everybody, and they're going to find me out." Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou. What the hell? I also read that a lot of United States presidents, when they first come into their position in the Oval Office and all these things that they're going to be working on and doing, many also experience imposter syndrome. Now, I do think that our current president-elect should probably experience imposter syndrome, rightfully so. Probably will not. But it is worth noting that many presidents also experience this, tend to be some of our most capable, highly educated, intelligent individuals to run the country. They experience imposter syndrome, and it disproportionately affects women. But why does this happen? So like I said, we could probably do a whole nother side video on why imposter syndrome impacts women disproportionately than anybody else. But I think just sort of keeping it on a base level, people have a natural sense of humility about their work. And there's also this concept of if something even comes naturally to you, that it must be too good to be true. Like, it must be too good to be true that I'm good at this. It must be too good to be true that I'm like doing this correctly or doing this well, even if I've worked hard to get there and fine-tune these skills. I've also read a lot that there's this sense of overinflated ego component that is also associated with imposter syndrome. I personally have not experienced that. Usually when I'm having a bout with my imposter syndrome, I don't feel good about myself at all. I don't feel capable or intelligent, any of those things. So that's not something I've personally dealt with. So now, what do we do about it? I think, first of all, we need to recognize that we all have something to offer even if it comes naturally. And on top of that, in fine-tuning our skills, it may feel natural, but we've really been working very hard to learn these skills and learn how to do whatever it is that you're doing that you may be good at. One thing, especially when I was working as an attorney, I experienced imposter syndrome all the time, especially if I had a case going up against some big, like, important, well-connected attorney, and I would feel incredibly intimidated, like, what am I doing here? Oh my God, they're gonna find me out for the fraud that I am. Something that I always sort of honed in on was to actually focus on my work product and not my feelings surrounding my work product. So just focusing on moving from point A to point B to point C and just getting it done and not focusing on all your feelings. But I will tell you that's easier said than done when you're having one of those moments. It's sometimes hard to focus on something very tangible. But if you're able to just sort of move through the steps, focus on the actual work or the artistry or whatever it is you're working on, that is helpful for me. Something I've also done for a few years now is I print off emails or I keep notes where people have told me that I did a good job or that I did great on something or that this was so wonderful that I don't know, whatever. So I print off all these emails and I keep them. So when I'm having one of those moments where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I am an imposter. I'm a total fraud and everyone's going to find me out and I'm going to be disbarred or something terrible. I pull out those notes and I look at them and I'm like, okay, I have done good things. I've done good work. I'm capable of doing this. So that's another little technique that I use when I'm having one of those moments. And the last thing I would say would be, and this again is easier said than done, don't compare yourself to other people. So we all bring something different to the table. Some people are going to be naturally good at things. Even when I look at Sam and I. So Sam is so naturally good at doing some things and I am not naturally good at it at all. Like she just can make things turn into these beautiful works of art. And when I try and do that, like here's my tree, for example. I built this out of coat hangers. It doesn't look very nice, but I guarantee you if Sam had made this tree, it would be perfect, beautiful, and impeccable. I just know that about her. And so you just have to realize that some people are going to be good at certain things and some people are not going to be that great at other things. Knowing what you are good at and trying to remember that in these moments is so important and so crucial. The other big thing I think behind imposter syndrome is this idea, and I can only speak for the United States, I don't know if this is everywhere, but this idea that we are so afraid to fail. We are incredibly afraid to fail. And I especially notice it just sort of being in grad school and being in those really competitive academic environments. People are terrified of failure. They are afraid of publicly failing. They are afraid of privately failing. They're afraid of failure in any context. And the irony is that we're all going to fail at a lot of things in life. And we can't let that prevent us from moving forward. Again, all of these things are easier said than done, but sort of recognizing the concepts has been really helpful for me in overcoming them mentally when I'm having one of these moments. So failure doesn't mean that you are not contributing something of value or importance, and not wallowing in your failure is also really important. So when you do fail, we've all failed. We've all had things that we tried and it did not work out, and not wallowing in that, and just, of course, take a minute, take a minute for yourself and reflect on, what you could have done better, whatever that is, but also just not wallowing, getting back up on the horse and trying again, and not being so afraid of that moment of failure. Don't let it take you off course. And also, it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to fail, and that doesn't mean that you are incompetent, that you are not intelligent, that you are not capable. That is sort of these two mutually exclusive things that we like to conflate when we're having that moment of imposter syndrome. So the last thing I'll say is I was listening to a TED Radio hour show one day when I was on a walk, and the host was interviewing someone from Google X. And if you're not familiar with Google X is the secret research laboratory of Google. And they're sort of unusual in that Google X celebrates failure. So in order to encourage their employees to get out there and try new things and take risks and put themselves out there, they reward people for failure. So when a project fails, they'll bring everybody up on stage in front of the whole company give them a raise, give them a promotion, and celebrate their failures, which is really wild to think about, especially as far like from a company and profit perspective. But Google has found that in doing so, it encourages people to step out of their comfort zones. It encourages people to try new things because fear of failure can be so incapacitating at times. Finally, the last thing is I'll say something that Sam said last week, fake it till you make it. Sometimes you just gotta put on a happy face and try and muscle through it. Not many people get the luxury to kind of wallow in a moment, especially when you're having a moment of imposter syndrome. It seems like those always strike at the most inopportune times. It's a moment that you have to perform or do something or be on. So many people don't get the opportunity to really wallow as it is. So sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And as Sam taught us talked about last week, faking it till you make it has been shown to scientifically be a very effective method of changing your mindset. If you can kind of get your body into the motions of doing something, your mind will follow. And that's a super effective technique. So next time you're having a little imposter syndrome moment, which we all have, I hope you'll think back to this video, try out some of the techniques that I put in place when I'm having a moment. And we won't see you guys till after the holidays, which will be, I guess, next week. But Christmas is this weekend, so if you're celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and have a great weekend. Bye, y'all.